I'm George, co-founder of Statute, and today I'm going to show you guys out there in New Jersey how to respond to debt collection lawsuit when you get sued. All right, first thing you need to know, you only have 35 days to respond, otherwise you automatically lose. All right, that's statewide. New Jersey, thankfully, actually has a pretty simple deadline. It says 35 days. If you don't respond, then you lose your case. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 3 steps to responding to a debt collection lawsuit. First, you got to start your answer document. Second, you got to make sure you make your affirmative defenses. And third, you got to file your answer and pay the filing fee. All right, New Jersey does charge filing fees, a little bit of a downside, among other things, for living in New Jersey. All right, but I do have to say, New Jersey does have some good food. I like that pork roll out in New Jersey. If you guys have some pork roll, we got to go get it while you are in New Jersey. Still, you got to eat it while you can. Statute can actually help you respond to a debt collection lawsuit. If this sounds complicated, it sounds like too much work, just go to statute.com. We will help you generate your document. We'll have an attorney review the document, and then we'll file it for you. Again, statute.com. So step number 1, create your answer document to the summons. All right. If you know you're being sued, if you receive a complaint and summons that look like this, to respond to the complaint and summons, you got to create an answer document and file it. To create your answer document, you just basically copy the caption on the complaint and summons, right? You put in like your personal information, you put in the party information, the court info, the case number, the court, and then like really the substance of the answer is responding to every paragraph. So you can respond to every paragraph in one of 3 ways. You can admit the paragraph. You do that if you agree with everything in the paragraph. All right, literally, people don't admit it unless they agree with every single thing in the paragraph. You can deny the paragraph. You do that if you disagree with anything. If you disagree with like the slightest thing, you can deny it. Or you can deny for lack of knowledge. You do this if you don't know, right? If you really just have like no idea what the attorney's trying to say in the complaint and summons, you're just like, I don't even know what this means. Then you can just deny for lack of knowledge. Totally no problem with doing that. Important to know that most attorneys recommend that you just do a general denial. That means where you just deny everything. That's because the burden of proof is on the plaintiff to prove their case. It's not on you. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove you don't owe the debt. You don't even have to prove who you are. It's on them to prove everything. They have to prove that you owe the debt. They have to prove that's your account. They have to prove you didn't pay the debt. They have to prove all that to collect from you. All right, so you actually have the upper hand here. All right, step number 2, assert your affirmative defenses. That's a fancy term. Basically, it just means make your defense. All right, so you can just list all the reasons why you shouldn't owe the debt. There are several like legitimate kind of reasons that attorneys have fancy names for why you shouldn't owe the debt. Right? It's like latches of equitable estoppel, or doctrine of unclean hands, stuff like that. Really, you can just kind of spell it out in plain English. You can say like, I was not served properly, the contract was canceled, the debt collector doesn't have proof that he owes the debt, I'm victim of identity theft, right? It's like not me, my sister like stole my identity and spent a bunch of money on credit cards, I don't actually owe the debt. One of the defenses that people like the most is actually the statute of limitations has expired. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here about the statute of limitations in New Jersey. That's governed by New Jersey Code, Section 152. Okay? So statute of limitations is like a law that decides how many years after making the last payment on a debt you can be sued for. Okay? So let's go in rapid fire here. If you have an auto loan debt, statute of limitations is 4 years. If you have an oral debt, it's like you just agreed to something verbally, statute of limitations is 6 years. A written debt, this is like most contracts, statute of limitations is 6 years. All right, open debt, statute of limitations 6 years. That's probably things like store credit or like revolving accounts. Medical debt, you went to the hospital, somewhere that was outside of your insurance coverage, racked up a bunch of medical bills, statute of limitation is 6 years. Credit card debt, 6 years again. Most of our customers at Statute come to us to get rid of credit card debt. That's like MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express. You know the drill. Mortgages, statute of limitations is 6 years once again. Noticing a trend here. A lot of these statutes of limitations are for 6 years. State tax debt, 6 years. You don't want to pay New Jersey, you don't want to pay them taxes, don't pay them taxes, and then after 6 years passes, they actually can't sue you for it anymore, so you might not have to pay. Court judgments, statute of limitations is 20 years. You might be saying, what's a court judgment? I've never really heard that term before. Well, that's what happens if you lose your lawsuit, all right? So if you're sued for credit card debt, statute of limitations was only 6 years, but now if you lose, now all of a sudden you're on the hook for 20 more years. Strong incentive to respond and not lose your case. All right, so solo suit, that's what we do for you. You can use us to respond to the lawsuit, generate your answer, have an attorney review it. We help you make all the affirmative defenses. We even get it filed for you properly in New Jersey. All right, so this brings us to step 3. All right, file your answer with the court and mail a copy to the other party. All right, so you gotta do a couple things here, right? You gotta print 2 copies of the answer document. You gotta send one to the court. You gotta send the other one to the opposing attorney. That means you need a few things, right? This is kind of like a big hurdle for a lot of people to get over, right? So you need to know the mailing address for the court. All right, oftentimes, especially in New Jersey, that isn't the address you find and you just search like District Court, New Jersey on Google. It's probably gonna show you the physical address. If you send it to that address, the court's gonna reject it. All right, you need the mailing address. It also means you need to know the filing fees, which we're gonna go over here in just a second. It means you need to have a printer, more importantly, a functioning printer, right? So you gotta print these documents off. The court's not gonna accept your little handwritten cursive letter, all right? And then also you have to use snail mail, which totally blows, right? I mean, it's not fun, right? You gotta go to the post office, you gotta figure out like certified mail, priority mail. Do I want a return address? Do I want like a return receipt? Do I want a signature? All these kinds of options, right? You can just let us do that for you. It's really a big hassle. All right, so these are the filing fees in New Jersey court to respond to file an answer with the court. So overall, the range of filing fees is from $30 to $175. All right, so if your lawsuit is in small claims, that means if it's between $1,000 and $3,000 and it's in small claims, the filing fee will be $30. If it is in special civil part, and it's between $3,000 and $15,000, then the filing fee is $30. If your lawsuit is in law division and it's for $15,000 or more, the filing fee is $175. All right, you might be asking yourself, like, WTF, I just got sued and now I have to pay a filing fee to file my document at the court, even though I don't owe the money? Yeah, that's right. Totally sucks, totally messed up. You should probably talk to somebody over there in New Jersey and tell them how messed up that is, because it is super messed up. If you get sued, you got to pay $175 to respond. All right, so those are the filing fees. Honestly, it's a huge pain to pay the filing fees because you might think, oh yeah, the court of course accepts credit cards. No, the court doesn't accept credit cards. You got to write a check, or you got to get a money order or a cashier's check. Then you got to send that in the mail off to the court. They aren't going to accept cash. You got to use a check. So again, solosuit.com, we can do that for you. We are experts in filing documents with the court. So just go ahead and head over there and use their service. We'd love to hear from you.